Hey guys, I hope you can see me all right. I hope I positioned that camera properly. Um, Sometimes it's guesswork. First off, I'm here to wish all of the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. Whether you are a dad to a reborn doll, I know that there are some reborn daddies out there. Whether you have a fur baby that you are a daddy to, or if you have a real child that you're a dad to, or if you are just a really strong male role model in a child's life. Happy Father's Day to all of you. It's so important for kids to have a strong male role model in their life. It's so important for children to have a good father. And not just to teach them things and show them things, but, especially for girls, it's important for them to have a loving father because I've read it time and time again that, little girls learn they learn what kind of men they should have in their life by who their father is. Or they learn about who what their partner should have in them by their father. So it's definitely important to have that father figure in your life. So on the positive side, I just want to wish all those wonderful fathers out there a happy Father's Day. But for me, I want to share my feelings on Father's Day as a woman who was raised just by my mother, and didn't really have a father who had much of a presence in my life. So for me, Father's Day is a hard day for me. And yes, I have a father, and I have seen him, throughout my life, but he never lived with me. From what I can remember my mother telling me, my father walked out on us when I was 6 months old, and he did not return to my life until I was about 2, I guess. I was a very colicky baby, causing trouble from the beginning. No, I was a good kid. But I was a colicky baby, and my mom pretty much had to deal with that on her own. My father could not handle that. And so anyways, he came into my life, I think, when I was around 2. And so in that aspect, I can, give him credit for at least coming back and, seeing me. So the legal arrangements was that I saw my dad every second Saturday. And, there was times where exceptions were made. Like, my mom was not one of those mothers who's very stingy about, when the dad could see the kid kind of thing. So, if my dad wanted to, there was, I think one time my dad took my sister and I to Marine Land in Niagara Falls, and we stayed in Niagara Falls overnight. So we went for a weekend, that kind of thing. Like, it wasn't always strictly every second weekend, but for the most part, it was every second Saturday that I saw my dad. And my dad is a very odd man. And a lot of people will back me up on that. If you know him, you will know that he is a very strange man. He tells the worst jokes in the world. And He talks about the most boring subjects in the world, and he will talk them to death. Whenever we get together, it's always the same topics over and over and over. So growing up, whenever I would see my dad, our day would typically be, he would either take me to Chuck E. Cheese, or we would go sometimes go-karting. One time he took me horseback riding. Sometimes we'd go to the beach, very rarely. And other than that, I mean, maybe once he took me to the science center. Other than that, a lot of the times we would just go to his house, where I would sit bored out of my mind while he watched wrestling and race car driving. So, and my dad really has he was very clueless on how to interact with children, in general. He just was very awkward about it. And so, you know, when I would go to see my dad, I never really got excited to see him unless we were doing something like Chuck E. Cheese, where I'd get to play games all day. And typically he'd take me to like McDonald's for dinner. But other than that, like, a lot of it was just, I remember, I just don't have very many memories of like super fun moments between my dad and I. Like, I know of places that he took me where the place was fun, but in terms of interacting between me and my father, like, there was no real connection. There was no real love or affection or emotion, or, you know, like, there wasn't that connection between us, like, ever. And that has remained to this day. So whenever I would see my dad, and I call him my dad, which is weird. I guess I'm just used to the terms mom and dad. But really and truly, when I think about him, I think more of a father, because my philosophy is that any man can be a father, but it takes a real man to be a dad, to earn that title dad. Because a dad to me is someone who is very involved in their child's life, who really shows that they care and are affectionate, and there's that connection, which we don't have, but I still call him dad. But I guess it's just because I grew up with my mom calling him that, like saying he's my dad. So it's just kind of stuck. But when it comes around Father's Day, I hate it. I hate shopping for a card. I hate shopping for a gift for him, because I feel like I'm getting it out of obligation, not out of me truly feeling the need to give him, like, wanting to get it for him. And I go and I start looking for cards. And every card, just about every card that I pick up is sappy. And, oh, what a wonderful dad. And you've made such wonderful memories. And you did this and this and this for me growing up, and blah, blah, blah. And none of it is how I feel. And none of it is what applies to me. And my half-sister, who, we have the same dad, but we have different moms. She was born 5 years before me. Her and I have had this talk, and she feels the same way. She feels the same way about him as I do, and she has a very hard time with getting cards and things like that for him. it's very hard for me because when I start looking for these cards and I see like these ones that they're expressing the feelings that I wish I had towards my dad. There are so many beautiful cards that I wish, reflected how I feel about, like, that I could actually say, yes, this card is, this is true. I feel this way about my dad. I have that love for him and I have that connection for him, but I don't have it. And so usually I will just get a very basic, simple card, or I will just get a joke card because I just don't have those feelings. And it's hard. I just wish that I had that relationship. I was telling you guys about my Uncle Ron who came and fixed the shelves, and to me, I look up to him. I look up to him as a male role model in my life. I always have. And wow, suddenly I'm getting emotional. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Sorry, guys. To me, okay, I'm getting it together now. So for me, my Uncle Ron exemplifies, wholeheartedly, the type of father I wish I had growing up. And, growing up, whenever, I got together with him, he, especially before he had his kids, when he didn't have kids yet, he used to play with me. Like, we'd get together as family and he would play with me and he would joke around with me. He would tickle me and I'd be like laughing my head off to the point of crying. And he would give me, like, he would get down on the floor, like a horse, and let me ride on his back. And he was so much fun. And he had this little Ziggy character at his place at Christmas time that wore a little Santa hat. And he used to like do the silliest things with it. He would pick it up and he would make it dance and he would go, don't. And I just thought it was like the funniest thing ever. I would just like die laughing. And, like, that continued after he had kids too. Like, he was awesome. And, like, sometimes I would go and spend the weekend with them and my cousins. And, he is the father of Brittany, who you guys know, that's my cousin that passed away from CF at 16. And, when I used to see him with her, not just her, but her sister Jessica as well, when I used to watch him with his kids, you could just see in his face the love that he has for his kids. And wow, I just didn't think I was going to get this emotional. I can't believe this. I wasn't expecting to cry at all. Sorry. So, just seeing him interact with his children, I wish I had that. And those girls, like, they were so lucky. And my cousin Jessica, like, she still is. She's so lucky to have him as a dad. He just exudes everything. He can do it all. And, when my cousin Brittany was sick in the hospital, he was always doing goofy things to, cheer her up. And, he would just sit with her and rub her back. She used to love, well, her and her sister both loved when he would rub their backs. And, just rubbing their legs. And, you know, sometimes Brittany would get annoyed. She would be like, okay, Dad, stop now. And he would get goofy. And, like, he's such a goofy guy. Like, he just cracks jokes all the time, and they're actually funny. He, like, he just makes me laugh all the time. So I love my Uncle Ron so much. Like, just seeing him with his kids, like, he is just incredible. And I would have to say my Uncle Chris as well, who is my Uncle Ron's brother. He was always a wonderful parent to his children. He has 2 boys and like 2 sons and a daughter. And he was the same way with them. He was the same way, like, you could just see the love in his eyes when he would look at his kids and play with his kids. And I never got that from my dad. He never looked at me that way. There was no affection. So when I would see my dad, and even to this day, when I see my dad, I feel like I'm seeing an acquaintance as opposed to my dad. So, and I pretty much feel like I see him out of obligation, like, because I would feel bad. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get the phone. So I've composed myself a little bit now, and I can continue on. So as I was saying, you know, if I didn't see my dad, I would feel bad. Like, I would feel like a bad person. And I do feel like it would hurt him. So you know, I see him a few times a year. Birthdays, Christmas, Father's Day, and like the rare time in between. But it's just not, it's more out of obligation than I want to, and that I enjoy spending time with him. Whereas, you know, my mom, we're so close that I love spending time with her. I look forward to seeing her. I look forward to spending time with her. I look forward to going to a movie with her, or going to the mall, or just hanging out here at my house. Like, I love being with my mom. And so for me, my mom has been my mom and my dad all rolled into one. And so when I got married, in my mind, my dream would have been to just have my mom on her own walk me down the aisle. That is what I wanted. I wanted my mom because I felt like she was the one who deserved to walk me down the aisle. Because my dad, like I said, I only saw him every second weekend, and the rare time on other times. But he wasn't there for all, like, there was so much in my life, in my childhood, in everything. There's so much that he missed. And so I feel like he has never known me. He's never really known everything about me and things that I've gone through. You know, I don't think he knew anything about all the bullying that I went through and how I came home crying every day. My mom was the one that was there to help me through that. You know, when I went through my health stuff, you know, the first time with the chronic highs, I lived at home with my mom. Alex and I hadn't even met at that time. And my mom took care of me during that year. She went to every single doctor's appointment with me. You know, I was at the doctor's several times a week, and she was there with me through the whole thing and was advocating for me and was trying to get answers as to what was wrong. And she took care of me, and she, you know, she was there through all of that. You know, when I would get sick as a kid, you know, if I caught a flu, or when I had the chicken pox, or when I had the measles, or I think there was one time I had strep throat. She was there for all of that, and my dad wasn't, and he is clueless about all of these different things happening in my life. He wasn't there, you know, when I had my first boyfriend and went through my first breakup and heartache, and he wasn't there for that. It was my mom that was there wiping my tears away and holding me and, you know, helping me through it. You know, she was the one that threw these awesome birthday parties for me. Now, we couldn't afford to have a birthday party every year. So most years we just celebrated at my grandmother's with the family. But every few years, my mom would, you know, for certain milestones, like I think it was probably my 7th birthday, we had a party, and maybe another age, I can't remember what age I was, that we had another party at my grandma's. And I think my 11th birthday, we had a swimming party at my aunt's apartment because they had a party room and a pool in their building. And then when I turned 13, we had a big party there with dancing with my friends and everything. My Sweet 16, I have bits of that birthday party here on my channel, my Sweet 16. My mom was the one there making hors d'oeuvres for us at 4 o'clock in the morning. She was having an awesome time with all of my friends and I. My dad didn't know my friends. He didn't know anything about my friends. My mom knew all my friends. My dad wasn't there for any of those fun birthday parties. He wasn't there for my breakups, and he wasn't there when my English teacher accused me of having someone else write my essay because it suddenly was an improvement from my last essay. And my mom had put me in tutoring for English, and that was the reason that I had improved, was because I was receiving tutoring, not because I had someone write my essay for me. And my teacher accused me of cheating, and it was my mom that went down to that school and defended me and said, listen, you know, my daughter worked hard on this, and, you know, like, she was just there for everything that he wasn't. And so I feel like he just doesn't know me as a person. He just does not know very much about me at all. And he doesn't ask about a lot of those things. Like, he just never did. Like, we never really talked much, especially when I was a kid. It was just him taking me to do something fun. We never really talked. So he never really got to know me for me and the things that I've went through in my life. And, you know, he didn't help pay for my braces. My mom had to do that all on her own. Lots of things my mom, it was all on her. He didn't help, you know, pay for a lot of things. So I just, you know, so like I said, I really wanted my mom, just my mom, to walk me down the aisle. But the good person in me, the little angel on my shoulder, said, do not do that. You know, as awkward as my dad is, and as strained our relationship is, and how awkward our relationship is, I know that my dad does have feelings, okay? And I think he does love me. He just has never really known how to show it. So when my sister got married, she had my dad, but she had her dad, our dad, but she also grew up with a stepfather who was now her mom's ex, and then her mom remarried, so she had like another stepdad. So she had 3 men in her life. Now, her first stepdad really was involved in her life, and in my opinion, she should have had him walk her down the aisle. But I guess she didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, like any of the 3 men. So my sister walked down the aisle by herself. I remember going to her wedding, and I remember seeing the look on my dad's face. And I know that it really hurt him that he was not walking her down the aisle. As awkward as he is with us, and, you know, he doesn't say I love you very much or anything like that. I could tell it really, really hurt him. And I remembered that. And I thought, I can't do that. I can't be that cruel. I can't do that to him. I can't hurt him that way. So I had both him and my mom together walk me down the aisle. And I thought that was a good compromise because I still had my mom, who I love so much. And then I had my dad, again, basically out of feeling obligated, just not wanting to hurt his feelings. And that's why he was there, but there was really no feeling. And I remember trying to pick out father-daughter dance song, and I found so many beautiful father-daughter songs that I thought, oh, if only I felt this way. If only my dad and I had this kind of relationship, this is the song I would dance to. And I would most likely be bawling my eyes out as I danced happily with my dad, and that's not how it was. I felt awkward dancing with my dad. I picked a nice song. You guys probably heard it in the wedding video I posted. It was about, you know, Cinderella, whatever. It was a nice little song, but it wasn't as sappy as some of the other ones I had in mind. And I really wanted to pick some of the other ones I had in mind, but all I could think of when I listened to those other songs was my mom. And I'm like, well, I can't dance with my mom. That would just be weird. So, so, you know, we danced, but it was awkward, guys. It was very awkward feeling. I just went with it, and I hope that he enjoyed it. I hope that it was happy for him, but I don't know. It's just a very unusual relationship and situation. And so one thing I've noticed with him, though, is now that he has grandchildren, my sister has a son and a daughter, so my niece and my nephew, Morgan and Talon. I've noticed recently, in the past few years, I guess, that he is really trying with them to have a relationship with them. And usually when we get together at my sister's house, a lot of the time I don't even see him because he is off playing with Morgan and Talon, which is really odd to see because he never did that with us when we were kids. And Morgan and Talon seem to really love him and really enjoy spending time with him, which is, again, it's weird to me, but I guess he apparently told my sister that he is trying to make up for it. He realizes that he was not the type of dad we should have had, and he does feel bad about it now. Like, now that he's getting older and he's looking back on things, he realizes that he made a lot of mistakes. And so it's nice to hear that. I mean, he's never told me this, but he's told my sister this. And so that's why he said he feels like with his grandkids, like, he has a chance to change that a little in having a relationship with them. So that's good. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't really fix things on our end. So, yeah. So I just basically, you know, I just get him Father's Day gifts, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, and visit him occasionally so that he's not hurt. But there's not a lot of feelings on my end when I visit him. So I don't know. I've been wanting to make this video for a while just to share a little bit with you guys, a little bit more about me and my family and my life. And with Father's Day coming up, it's just been on my mind, and I thought I would talk about it. And but with that said, one good thing about being married is you get a father-in-law. And I love my father-in-law. I love him. That's all. I mean, he is such a sweetheart. And he's another father figure that you can tell how much he loves his children. They just bring him so much joy. Like, he just beams. His whole face lights up when he's with his kids. And so, you know, at least, you know, maybe now I have a chance to have that father figure in my life. I know we're not blood related, but he is my father-in-law, and I love him. I love him so much. And so, at least for him, I like to pick out the Father's Day cards, and I get sappy ones. So, yeah, so this Father's Day, the Saturday, we are going to go and visit my dad and take him somewhere to eat. And on actual Father's Day, on the Sunday, we will be with my father-in-law. So, and we're going to be taking him out somewhere to eat too. I don't know why, but it's like the thing. It's like always having to take them out to eat. I'm kind of getting tired of eating out because there always seems to be some event or some celebration happening where we have to go out to eat, and it's just like, but anyways, so that's what we're doing for Father's Day, and I will definitely enjoy seeing my father-in-law. So I'm lucky. I mean, I did at least have some good male role models to look up to in my uncles, especially my Uncle Ron, and now in my father-in-law. So with that said, I'm going to end this rambling video. I just ramble. You know me. If you made it through this whole video, yay for you. Sometimes I do these videos more for me than I do for you guys. It's like free therapy for me. So I commend you if you watch the whole thing. I don't expect you guys to, because I know it's a long video. But if you made it this far, yay for you. And I just hope that all of you guys out there have a wonderful Father's Day. For those of you who do have those wonderful dads in your life who have really been there for you in your childhood and in adulthood, or, you know, just really been a good dad that every kid deserves to have, then go and hug them and love them. Tell them you love them. Spoil them, because you are 100% blessed and lucky to have a wonderful man like that in your life, a wonderful father. Not everybody gets that. So be grateful, be thankful, show them how much you appreciate and love them, and give them hugs and kisses and love, because you never know what tomorrow holds. So yeah, have a good Father's Day, everyone. And if you're a reborn daddy, spend some time with your little reborns. Enjoy. And thanks so much for watching this video, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.